Well, legendary rapper Tupac Shakur was gunned down in the middle of the Vegas Strip nearly 30 years ago. However, as we all well know, no one was ever arrested. The case seemingly has gone cold until this week. Vegas police searched a home in Henderson, Nevada on Monday night for new clues about the killing. Joining us live now is A.D. Carson, an assistant professor of hip hop at the University of Virginia, also a rapper himself who's written several articles about hip hop, including the recent article in The Conversation about why so many rap artists die young. Welcome back to the show. We appreciate your time this morning. Tupac, 25, when he was shot that night. We all know the general story. He had been at that hotel watching a Tyson fight, was driving to a club in the BMW, and someone in a white Cadillac pulled up beside him, shot him several times, and he died a few days later. Almost 30 years. Hard to believe. His legacy's only grown since his death, which is why the news in the last few days really was shocking. What was your reaction when you heard that police had issued this new warrant? What do you think it means?
Peace, and thanks so much for having me back. My reaction really was that, well, it seems as though folks are still investigating the homicide. I believe that there will be increased, renewed interest in violence in hip hop, whether that is, in my opinion, kind of misplaced or not. And I guess what I mean by misplaced is that lots of people experience gun violence across this country all the time. And it seems that the tragedies that rappers experience are highlighted to make it seem as if there is an exceptional kind of violence that exists within hip hop culture or among Black folks. And of course, we know that that's not true. So I hope that as folks are investigating this particular tragedy, this particular superstar, that they focus on this instance in the ways that we are interested in justice for Tupac's murder, rather than using it as another way to try to scapegoat rap and scapegoat hip hop artists.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Does it surprise you, and this has been a conversation obviously for years, but considering just how famous he was and that it happened on a busy fight night in Vegas near the Strip, does it surprise you just on from a layman's perspective that no one's been caught in this case? It does seem strange considering the high profile nature of the man himself and the circumstances under which he was killed, that since '96, no one has been fingerprinted for this.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I guess if such a thing as palace intrigue exists in hip hop, I believe that it probably focuses on the high profile murders of Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. And I think that it's because it fuels conspiracy theories that say that, well, because of the ways that people bought their records after they were taken away, and the ways that people have used this kind of spectacle of tragedy and violence to promote almost anything now, that there are these machinations that are happening behind the scenes that that sacrifice rappers, or that get involved in these really sort of nefarious, twisted tales. And so, yes, it's interesting. I think that the interesting aspects of it only serve to fuel more speculation and fuel what have become their own kind of cottage industries around solving the murders that happen within the world of hip hop.
And you mentioned Biggie Smalls, obviously shot and killed just a year later after Tupac. Biggie was shot to death in '97, and sort of even now still symbolizes, or at least at the time did, that East Coast West Coast rivalry that you hear so much about in the world of hip hop. Listen, there are a lot of incredibly talented rappers in the world, and no one can deny the influence of hip hop. Certain people, though, get to the Mount Rushmore of it all. Certainly Jay-Z is there, and others, and Tupac and Biggie on that that short list as well. What do you think it was about Tupac that made him not just a successful rapper, unarguably, but also this kind of pop culture icon that people are still years later fascinated with his death? What was it about him in particular?
Yeah, I think that it was charisma, that it felt as if when he was performing, that he was performing directly for you, whoever the audience was. When he was acting, that he cut straight through to the heart of whatever the matter was. And so I think that it's the kind of undeniable star power and the fact that he was taken so young, and we realize the immense potential that the world missed out on because he was taken so young. And I think that that is the kind of story, along with all of the icons across pop culture in the past that have died relatively young. We all think, well, what could have been had they still, been around to participate, to offer comment, to become, elders.
Missed potential. Couldn't agree more. A.D. Carson, assistant professor of hip hop at the University of Virginia. Thanks again for your time. We appreciate it, man. We'll be right back.